Hello, everyone. Welcome to True Crime. Today, we're going to uncover another disturbing case with you. It was March 14th, 2003, at the Hobbit Pub in Southampton, England. That evening, people were enjoying their time, as usual. Among them was a young girl named Hannah Foster along with her friend. Both were having a good time, but when it grew late, they decided to leave the pub at around 10:50 p.m. Since it was already night, Hannah's friend caught a bus from Portswood Road and went home. Hannah, however, decided to walk since her home was only about 800 meters away, roughly half a mile. Inside Hannah's home lived her father, Trevor Foster, her mother, Hilary Foster, and her younger sister, Sarah. The Foster family usually went to bed early, assuming Hannah would quietly return home, eat, and then go to sleep. But that night, things turned very different. When Hannah's mother woke up at 5 a.m., she noticed her daughter was not home. Normally, the walk back would not take Hannah more than 30 minutes. Several hours had already passed, and still, she hadn't returned. Hilary called Hannah's phone repeatedly, but there was no answer. Soon, Trevor and Sarah also became aware of her absence. Trevor Foster quickly contacted Hannah's friend from the pub, but she told him the same story, that Hannah had left after her and planned to walk home. By 10:30 in the morning, the family grew extremely worried. Trevor went to the Southampton police station and filed a missing persons complaint. The police immediately traced Hannah's phone. Thankfully, the device was still active, and its location was picked up through nearby mobile towers. It was showing nearly 20 to 25 miles away from her house. A police team rushed there and discovered Hannah's phone and her bag at the city's recycling center. But Hannah herself was missing. March 15th passed with no success. Then on March 16th, police received a call from an anonymous man living on the outskirts of the city. He reported seeing a young girl's body in the bushes. A team was dispatched at once. Since police already had Hannah's description and photo, they quickly suspected the body was hers. Soon, her family was called in, and upon confirmation, they broke down in grief. The body was sent for postmortem. The report revealed something horrifying. Hannah had been sexually assaulted and then strangled to death. Forensic experts found traces of the attacker's DNA on her clothing, raising hope that it would match the national database. But when tested, there was no match. Investigators then studied Hannah's phone records. Shockingly, she had dialed the emergency number 999 that night. The operator said the line had remained open for about 50 seconds. During the call, Hannah never spoke, but background noises revealed important clues. With enhanced audio, investigators realized Hannah had been inside a moving vehicle. A faint male voice with a South Asian accent was also heard, asking Hannah questions while she remained silent and terrified. Armed with this clue, police began scanning CCTV cameras from the road where Hannah's friend had last seen her. After reviewing hours of footage, they narrowed the search down to 7 suspect vehicles. Meanwhile, Hannah's devastated parents pushed for answers and publicly appealed for justice. The case was now gaining national attention, and the police were under growing pressure to catch the killer. Hannah's parents reached out to the public through a well-known crime awareness TV program. During that broadcast, the details of 7 suspicious vehicles were shared. Soon after, a major lead emerged. One of those vehicles, a delivery van, belonged to a company called Hazelwood Foods. The company's supervisor, James Dennis, contacted investigators and revealed that the van's driver did not own a personal vehicle, so he often used the company van to commute. On the night Hannah disappeared, that same driver had been making deliveries along the road where Hannah had started her walk home. The timing and location matched perfectly. The driver was identified as Maninder Singh. Investigators learned that on the morning of March 15th, he came to work with scratches on his face, marks that hadn't been there the previous day. That same day, he only worked half a shift, claimed he had back pain, and left early. But later, police discovered that he never returned to his job after that. Forensic experts then examined the Hazelwood van, and inside they discovered troubling evidence, traces of bodily fluids and blood. Combined with his sudden disappearance, all signs began to point toward him as Hannah's killer. Further checks of CCTV footage showed his van driving to the city's recycling center on the night of March 14th, the same place where Hannah's belongings were later found. His vehicle had also been seen traveling the road near where her body was discovered. By now, Maninder Pal Singh had become the prime suspect. The police first visited his home, where his wife and 2 children lived. His wife, a UK citizen, revealed a shocking detail. On March 18th, just days after Hannah's death, he had left for India, claiming his mother was gravely ill. This development made the case even more complex. To strengthen the evidence, police collected a DNA sample from one of his sons. During that broadcast, the details of 7 suspicious vehicles were shared. Soon after, a major lead emerged. One of those vehicles, a delivery van, belonged to a company called Hazelwood Foods. The results matched the DNA recovered from Hannah's clothing and from inside the van. Since children share about half of their father's genetic makeup, this was more than enough proof to confirm that Maninder Pal Singh was the culprit. British authorities then contacted Indian officials for help. His ancestral home was in Chandigarh, so local police there visited the address. They learned that he had indeed returned to meet his mother for a few days, but after 3 or 4 days, he vanished again. His family also revealed that while in the UK, he always wore a turban and beard, but once he arrived in India, he shaved off his beard and cut his hair to change his appearance. By this time, Hannah's parents had also learned that their daughter's killer had fled to India. But to their disappointment, the case was not being treated as a priority in Chandigarh. The Indian media had barely covered the story, so the public at large knew very little. As weeks turned into months, the investigation slowed to a crawl. Finally, 15 months after their daughter's death, on July 10, 2004, Hannah's parents decided to take matters into their own hands. They traveled to India for 10 days, went straight to Chandigarh, and spoke to local media outlets, appealing for help in finding and arresting Maninder Pal Singh. They carried 2 important photographs of him, one showing him with a turban and beard, the other with a clean-shaven face and trimmed hair. With those images, it became easier for the public to identify him. After that, Hannah's parents waited once more, hoping their efforts would finally bring justice for their daughter. After their appeal in Chandigarh gained little traction, Hannah's parents decided to go to Delhi. They knew that India's capital was home to national and international media outlets, and they believed the bigger spotlight could help. Trevor and Hilary Foster made a vow. They would not rest until the man who killed their daughter was caught. This step changed everything. Within 24 hours, the murder of Hannah Foster and the name of the suspect, Maninder Pal Singh, spread across India. Every major newspaper and news channel carried the headline. Hannah's parents even set up a free hotline so anyone with information could call. Meanwhile, British investigators, through a major news agency, announced a reward of 5 million rupees for anyone who could provide leads to capture Maninder Pal Singh. The news spread like wildfire across the country. Then, on July 15, 2004, a taxi driver in Darjeeling, West Bengal, contacted a retired police officer he knew. The driver told him that a man had been living in the area for a few months whose appearance strongly resembled the face shown on TV as Hannah's killer. The timing was suspicious. This man had shown up shortly after Hannah's murder. The retired officer immediately went with the driver to check. Recognizing the face from the news, he wasted no time and alerted the local police. Acting swiftly, officers intercepted a bus traveling from the town of Kalimpong towards Nepal. On board, they found Maninder Pal Singh attempting to flee across the border. With him was a woman, revealed to be his second wife. After escaping to India, he had remarried and assumed a new identity, calling himself Mike Davis. He was arrested and brought to Delhi. Under custody, Maninder eventually confessed. He described how, on the night of March 14, 2003, he had been drinking in his van when he saw Hannah walking home. Sinister thoughts crossed his mind. He forced her into the van, ignored her pleas for release, and even when she secretly dialed emergency services, she was too terrified to speak. He then drove to a secluded spot, assaulted her, and strangled her to silence her forever. The next day, he pretended nothing had happened, working only half a shift before dumping Hannah's phone and bag at a recycling center. He then borrowed money under the pretense of visiting his sick mother in India. On March 18, 2003, he flew out, leaving behind his wife and children in the UK, and began a new life under disguise in India. But his escape didn't last. After his arrest, he gave multiple conflicting statements, at one point even claiming that unknown criminals forced him to commit the crime. But DNA evidence told the real story. His son's DNA matched samples from Hannah's clothes and the van, and later his own blood sample provided a 100% match. In June 2007, after years of extradition proceedings, Maninder Pal Singh was returned to the UK. His trial began in December that year at Winchester Crown Court. Despite pleading not guilty, the evidence was overwhelming. On November 25, 2008, he was convicted of Hannah Foster's rape and murder and sentenced to life imprisonment, with a minimum term of 24 years. He will remain behind bars until at least 2030. Of the 5 million rupees reward, part of it was given to the taxi driver, Jason Lepsha, whose bravery led to Maninder's capture. Jason used that money to buy land and build a school for underprivileged children, naming it the Hannah Memorial Academy in her honor. When Hannah's parents later visited Darjeeling and saw the school, they were deeply moved. Back in the UK, they started a charity to support Jason and keep the school running, turning their personal tragedy into hope for others. So, friends, this brings us to the end of the Hannah Foster case. Justice was delayed but not denied. Hannah's memory now lives on, not just through her family's fight, but also through the education of hundreds of children in India. If you appreciate the efforts of true crime, please like, share, and subscribe for more.